We're doing it again. We're back. We are back. I'll get to that in a minute. Welcome back to .NET Phillies, the possible worst show on the internet to ever grace our eyes. So we are back. I'm gonna kind of touch on the Pirate series a little bit. I have obviously we're gonna be talking about the Red series. We also have some headlines. We have Matt Saporsky's Dude of the Week. We have John's hot takes and wrapping it up with the series preview against the San Diego Padres. So, kind of looking back at that Pirate series, it was a little annoying, mostly because, or not the Pirates, the White Sox. The White Sox. I'm sorry, I completely redid my notes and I still had the Pirates in there. We already talked about the Pirates. We need to talk about the Chicago White Sox. So let me just break down the Chicago White Sox for you guys. The Chicago White Sox, quite possibly, are the worst team that I have ever seen put to a field. I think the Oakland Athletics last year were better than this Chicago White Sox team that we saw over the weekend. It was so bad watching it. I felt bad for them. Truthfully, I felt bad for the players. They have nobody on that team. They have nobody worth a damn, to be quite frank. They have nobody worth anything. I mean, Gavin Sheets is pretty good. You have, that's about it. Michael Kopech, future Phil. Michael Kopech needs to be a Phil. They're going to take Griff McGarry, and you're going to like it for Michael Kopech. We'll get there. But yeah, it was rough. It was good to see this Phillies team kind of just take care of business, beat up on the bad teams in the Rockies and in the White Sox. It was very good to see that. I feel like in years past, they 4-2 in those 6 games, or 5-1 if they're really hot. They just took care of business. They took care of the Rockies. They took care of the White Sox. They went on the road, split in Cincinnati, which really should have been 3 out of 4, but thanks to Anthony Dominguez, and we'll get to him in a minute. It was just good to see him take care of business and hot. Prior to this Red series, Bryce Harper and his wife welcomed in their third child, so congratulations to them. We had Harper with a bit of dad strength today, but before we get into that, I need to address this. Let me go get it. So, I bought one. It's definitely real. Okay, it's definitely real. That well, hey Dan, not bad, right? Not bad, but not bad at all. Yeah, that just came in from eBay. I mean, MLBshop.com. MLBshop.com. Definitely MLBshop.com. Don't come for me. But anyway, kind of to fix this a little bit. Okay, kind of to get into what I want to get into. Some of the headlines that we have, and a main story that has kind of transcended. It's kind of two stories leading into another. Regarding the Phillies starting pitching. The starting pitching for the Phillies has been absolutely incredible. You have Wheeler doing what he did today. He was dominant again today, and we saw that against the White Sox when he went 8 7 1/3 no hit against the White Sox. We saw the dominance again today, so he hasn't skipped a beat. We also had Aaron Nola, what he's been able to do recently. He's going to get put to the test a little bit against the Padres. We also have Ranger being just absolutely fantastic for this Phillies staff, and I kind of touched on it a couple podcasts ago. We are literally seeing the beginning of greatness in terms of Ranger Suarez. We are seeing somebody who is going to be a major part of this Phillies team moving forward. And we already knew that. I think as Philadelphia Phillies fans, we all knew that. It just kind of came down to, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be able to sustain this? What does his ceiling kind of look like? And now we're seeing that where he's been fantastic. And again, I've addressed this. This is not anything new in terms of content, but it comes to he's been so good. He continues to be dominant. He has like a 25 scoreless streak. He's been great. Now, Chris Sanchez, on the other hand, has been a little hit or miss. Chris Sanchez has been more miss than hit recently. Um, and I'm sorry, somebody. Sorry. Sorry. Any Hoosers. Chris Sanchez has been more bad than good recently. He's been looking like a fifth starter. And I think uh, we have kind of forgotten what Chris Sanchez is because he has been so good for us that we kind of lost sight that he's a fifth starter. Like he's good, he's fine. He's gonna go 4 or 5 innings every fifth day, and that's that. We kind of lost sight that the fact that he is a fifth starter. One thing, we saw him struggle again against the Reds, and we'll kind of talk about the controversy coming up about the rotation. We might as well get into it now. Then you get the Spencer Turnbull, who has the lowest ERA in the National League, but yet he's going to the bullpen. Why? Why is Spencer Turnbull going to the bullpen? Is it because Taijuan Walker is owed all that money? Yes, there's the answer. Yes, it's because Taijuan Walker is owed X amount of money and Spencer Turnbull isn't. And what bothers me is they are completely turning a blind eye to the fact that Spencer Turnbull has earned that spot in the rotation, and you're slotting Taijuan in there because he's making 15, 16, 17 million dollars. I don't care how much he's making. That is your fault for giving that guy a bad contract. And that's what the Taijuan contract is. It's a bad contract. And I think the league knows it, the Phillies know it, everybody knows it, that contract is bad, but you need to just swallow it and go, you know what, Taijuan, the best course of action for us going forward is going to be having you be our long man in the bullpen, because right now we need to ride the hot hand of Spencer Turnbull. And Taijuan seemingly is a great dude, and I think he would understand wholeheartedly that this is what we got to do. Like, this is the thing that we need to do. What is going? Oh, Bo Nix is a Bronco. Um, I think Taijuan Walker is a vet enough to be like, yes, I know my arm's shot. There's a reason I didn't pitch in the postseason. I don't care how much money I'm making. This is what we have to do, and it's not that. It's they're literally just giving him the job because he's making money. I don't care. You have Josh Hader in the bullpen of Houston making $20 million a year, and he's in the bullpen. He is making more than Taijuan Walker in the bullpen. And the kind of the counter argument to this is that, oh, well, he could fall off. He could fall off. Sorry, there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, but regardless, the wheels could fall off of Spencer Turnbull, absolutely. But can we at least see it? Can we at least get there before we make this decision? Because my worry is, and a lot of people have touched on this prior to me bringing it up, is the fact that, Taijuan gets put back in, you put Turnbull back into the bullpen. Taijuan stinks for 3 starts, and you go, okay, now we're going to flip him. And now what if Turnbull isn't as good? That's a real possibility. I know they already said he's starting Sunday, which, again, I think is a mistake, but that's that. I mean, in a world, is it possible that Taijuan is good? Yes, 1,000%. There is a world where Taijuan Walker comes back and he's just fine. He's just fine. That is a possibility. I know his minor league and rehab starts have said otherwise, especially when it comes to practically everything. To tell you the truth, his velocity's down. He's getting shelled. His walking guy. Everything has been trending down for Taijuan Walker, but Phillies are just going to ride with him regardless because he's making money. And that's what pisses me off, because like I said, Spencer Turnbull earned that. Spencer Turnbull earned the spot in the rotation, and now we're just gonna go. Thanks for your 1-2 ERA, bud. Taijuan, come on in, bud. You're throwing 80, 88, 89. Solid. Let's do it. It bothers me, to tell you the truth. It just bothers me. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? That's why they don't pay me the big bucks to make those decisions. That is a Dombo thing. That is a Rob thing. That is a Middleton thing. It's just what it is at this point. So, that's kind of the controversy regarding the Phillies rotation. And it's a good look. Depth is always good to have, especially you see these arm injuries. And I kind of talked about it in my last episode where, pitching depth is at a premium right now. You have injuries left, right, and center around. So having depth is very important. The Phillies have done a great job of providing solid, fine pitching depth. In terms of, you have David Buchanan, you have Taijuan Walker, Dylan Covey, a Mick Abel, a Griff McGarry, guys who can go longer into games. Even Nick Nelson, for God's sakes, is good. It's depth. It's not like, God forbid, one of these guys go down and then it's, oh God, what do we do? We panic and make a trade or do something stupid. That's kind of where I'm at. So depth is always good. I just think they're giving it to the wrong guy. I think it should be Spencer Turnbull over Taijuan Walker. I don't think that is a very controversial take. I don't believe that is something that is, completely fought upon when it comes to, the Phillies Twitter and fandom and everything. I think everybody kind of agrees that it should be Spencer Turnbull until the wheels fall off. Could the wheels never fall off? Absolutely. And then what do? We go from there. But there's a very real possibility that we're screwing ourselves because we're giving this job to a guy just because he's making more money. And it shouldn't be that way. Look, like, I get the logistics of it, and you don't want to have egg on your face because you gave Taijuan Walker all this money. And again, in the same breath, there's a possibility that Taijuan comes back and he is very good. That is a possibility. It could happen. Is it likely? No, to tell you the truth, but it could be. I would say the leash for Taijuan should be like 3 starts, 4 starts. And then you need to reevaluate. You need to go, look, this is what we got. This is what we got to do. I don't care if it causes bad blood between Taijuan Walker and the Phillies. Oh no, we have to trade Taijuan Walker for Mike Trout. Pretty sure I said that trade on here. But my point is, I don't care about your feelings, Taijuan. If your feelings get hurt that you're a long man now because your arm is shot, then that's what it is. You need to accept your role. You're still making a bank from this team. So don't you dare cross your arms and pout because, oh, I didn't get put into a game, so now I'm going to be sad and go take it out on Twitter. Dude, grow up. Grow up, dude. Accept who you are, and it's fine. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, I'm going to get back to what I used to be. Look, if you want to get back to what you used to be, by all means, dude, I'm not going to stop you. Again, I'm not holding my breath for that to happen, though. That's just the reality of Taijuan Walker being the way he is. I just think it's a big mistake picking picking Walker over Turnbull. I just think that this isn't what they should be doing, but it's what they're going to do. So what do I care? Kind of in a similar vein, Ricardo Pinto is just not very good. The story was cute in the beginning. Now it just kind of he just kind of sucks. He's just not very good at baseball. Just is not good. Nearly blew a lead in the White Sox series. You had to burn Alvarado, and of course, it didn't end up mattering overall, but it still is annoying. Pinto, he's probably gone once Taijuan gets activated, so I guess no harm, no foul, I guess, but regardless. So something new. I do apologize for that. Something new that I'm trying out for this episode, and we'll kind of see how I like it, is instead of going kind of game by game, kind of recapping everything, I'm gonna start doing kind of like takeaways from the series, kind of main things that kind of stuck out to me. I think it kind of compacts everything a little bit better instead of, I feel like it kind of got a little mundane of boring of me going, oh, Nola went six, Hoffman went one, Alvarado went one kind of format. It's definitely something different. It's something that I kind of want to just try out, see how the response is, see if you guys like it, see if it's something that I should continue or if I could just go back to my old format. I'm trying a bunch of different things out, and I can't believe it's taking me this long to address the big elephant in the room of the new logo. And I kind of wore this hat completely by accident. I wore it to work today. Completely by accident, I wore this hat. I kind of changed the logo. I went with more of a retro feel as opposed to the um, modern-ish feel of the team. I kind of wanted to change things up a little bit, makes things pop. It's still in basic the same logo. It's just a little different. Something that I kind of worked on this past week, kind of kicking around new ideas to kind of freshen up stuff, to kind of make stuff a little bit newer. Especially as I'm trying to expand, trying to do different things with this, because I feel like when we get into the mundane of this is how this show is, I feel like that's when viewers get bored, especially when it comes to personalized things of um uh, give me 1 second. Okay. Any hoosers. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do takeaways instead of doing game by game by game by game. Um, so in game again, I'm so used to saying like XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Um, so some of the main takeaways I had was Sir Anthony just kind of needs to be on mop up duty at this point. Ever since the 2022 postseason, Sir Anthony has just not been the same. He has barely any control of his fastball. Even when he does, it's like, dude, you throw 98. Like, control that first, and your slider plays off of that. And for whatever reason, the Phillies, you kind of saw a similar thing to what they did with Orion Kirkring in the NLCS last year, where it was slider, 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 fastball. Where instead it needs to be fastball, 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 slider. Like these guys are throwing 98 to 101. Like their fastball plays and their slider just makes it that much better. Um, I don't know what it is with him. I don't understand what exactly happened to him. I don't know if his arm is still shot. Like, does he need a Phantom IL thing? I truly don't understand the mystery of Sir Anthony. And I remember talking about this last year. It's the same situation of he can't control his pitches. He's walking guys like I truly don't know. That being said, I think Kirkering needs to be put into more higher leverage situations. I think you need to flip the roles of Orion Kirkering and Sir Anthony Dominguez because it just is better that way. I think Kirkering has earned so far. I mean, we barely seen Kirkering. We know what this kid can do, and I understand he's young and he don't want to blow his arm out, quickly. But it kind of needs to be trial by fire. He's in the major leagues for a reason. This is a win now team. This isn't a team like the White Sox, like the A's, like the Astros. Honestly, the Astros are in the toilet right now too. But it isn't a team where you're just seeing what you have in your young talent. Like there's a reason Ryan Kirkering is here, and it's because he is dominant, and it's because he is very good at baseball. And I know everybody has a sour taste in their mouth over what happened in the NLCS, but that is completely different beast. And for all intents and purposes, he did extremely well in the situation he was put in. But Kirkering just needs to be put into higher leverage situations than what he is right now. You need to flip him, and you need to flip Sir Anthony. Sir Anthony needs to be put in the Pinto / Kirkering role, and Kirkering needs to be put into those higher leverage situations because I think the kid can handle it. I think their plan tentatively, or I don't know why I said it like that. Their plan, in my opinion, the best course of action is, you have their two most trusted relievers in Hoffman and Alvarado. I think they want to keep them for the 8th, the 9th inning, and I think they're going to rely heavy on Matt Strahm. They're going to rely heavy on Orion Kirkering as your lefty-righty high leverage specialist because those guys, they have cojones. They can just go out there and get outs like it's nobody's tomorrow and just be done with it. Like it's not that deep. And it just bothers me that we keep shoving Sir Anthony out there when in reality he's not very good. He is good, and I don't get it. I don't understand what happened. I don't I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm looking at the draft that's going on right now, so I'm kind of looking at the draft stuff. My apologies because hold on. Okay, so all right. Okay, the Vikings picked JJ McCarthy. Okay, Jaden Daniels went to Marvin Harrison went to the Cardinals. Jaden Daniels went to the Commanders. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and say okay, yeah, Caleb Williams to no one's surprise. Anyway, that was .NET football for a minute. Sorry, I was checking in on everything because a lot's been going on. I'm crazy, but another key takeaway I had was Cody Clemens played extremely. He played too well to only play in one game. I mean, he went 2 for 4 with a 3-run homer, and his post game interview was incredible. It sucks we only saw him for one game. I feel like Topper relies too heavy on the lefty lefty. He doesn't like lefty lefties, but time and time and time and time and time and time and time again, he's been proven wrong as to why that lefty lefty does not matter. Marsh not mashes, but is very good against lefties. Same thing with Stott. And I'm sure Cody Clemens would have been fine, but hey, what do I got to say? The Phillies defense wasn't fantastic in this series, especially in those middle couple games. They really weren't that fantastic, which, again, it didn't ultimately come to bite them. It cost them a game. And then, the defense really sold them in game 2 when they kind of got blown out. But then it was really Sir Anthony, the reason that they lost that game 3, which, what are you going to do? Pitchers have their blow-ups. We had it with Greg Soto, and I don't really know the trust level of Gregory Soto at this point. I don't know if he's mop-up. I don't know if he's high leverage. I truly don't. He's kind of like, dude, you throw 100 miles an hour. Just figure it out. Just figure it out. Make him throw a splitter, for Christ's sake. From a splitter from the left side, dirty. Disgusting. But they're not gonna. They're not gonna. It's infuriating, but what are you gonna do? I kind of touched on that. Trey Turner, very good at baseball. Trey Turner, man. Holy, let me pull up his stats real quick. Hold on. Let me get not the keyboard is covering up. Here's Trey Turner on the season. Sitting 324. He is just so good. What is he? So, yeah, so Trey Turner right now is hitting 324 with an 839 OPS. Dog. Just dog. That's the guy you pay all the money for. Is that guy right there. Not that guy we saw at the beginning of last year. And it's just so easy. It's just this is Trey Turner. This is the Trey Turner we have been waiting for. Is this guy that we're seeing in front of us right now? It's fantastic. I love it. I love Trey Turner. Had 3 hits today. Just this is the guy we paid the money to. This is why like it gets me so excited that we're getting guys. Harper starting to heat up. Trey has been fantastic. Schwarber, Bomer is dominant. Your Stott is showing signs like Marshy has been great. Rojas has been swinging the hot bat. We'll get to number 8 in a minute. He hasn't quite earned his name yet. But these guys are coming in and just being so freaking good and fantastic, and it's great. The offense is clicking. The offense is clicking. You got to think those games, those first 3 games in Cincinnati, they were rolling out their B lineup. Well, no, game one they didn't roll out the B lineup. The only change was that was Clemens was playing first because Harper was on paternity leave. Game 2, their lineup was Whit Merrifield was batting 5th, for God's sakes. And then you get to game 3, and their pitching sold them. They scored 5 runs, and with that lineup, you think 5 runs would have been more than enough to put them over the edge, but unfortunately, just wasn't. So the offense is fine. The offense is finally coming into fruition to match with the fantastic pitching that we've seen. And again, yes, the pitching sold them, but it was primarily Seranthony. It's always just one guy that sells them. At the beginning of the year, it was Connor Brogdon. Then it was Greg Soto and Ricardo Pinto. Now it's Seranthony. It's just it's one guy. It's not like it's not a bug. It's not like Wheeler's getting shelled, Nola's getting shelled, the bullpen's worn down. This is why they're bad. Like, if anything, the bullpen is underworked right now, which is good, which is a good thing because we saw them get beat up the first couple series of the season. Is they were getting hammered out there, and not in a good way either, not in the fun way. They were just getting hammered out there. Nick Castellanos has legitimately been awful. What is he at this year? Let me take a peek at his. So Nick Castellanos was hitting 174 this year with a 428 OPS. So let me repeat that. Nick Castellanos is hitting 174, no home runs, and a 428 OPS. And to put that in perspective, so 428 OPS, just put that in perspective. Let me Google. To put that in perspective, Johan Rojas currently is hitting 266 with his 657 OPS. And we all talk about how awful offensively Mr. Rojas is. I don't know what the Phillies do with Nick Castellanos. I truly don't. I don't know. I'm trying to just hold out hope that he's going to turn it around, but we've seen this before. I don't know. I don't know what kind of adjustments. I don't know if benching him is the right move. Topper, I don't think is ever going to bench a vet like Nick Castellanos. I think it's going to be like he's going to play out of it kind of thing, similar to kind of what we saw with Trey Turner last year. So help me God, if one of you, listen to me, if one of you suggest doing a standing ovation for Nick Castellanos, I might do something illegal. No. It was cute when we did it, and let's leave it at that. It was a great moment because other teams started doing it, and they thinking they're going to get the same results, and no, they don't. We're not doing that with Nick Castellanos. I understand his frustration, and you can see it in his demeanor, and you can hear it even in his post-game interviews when he hit that walk-off a couple weeks ago where he's frustrated. He's like, I know I'm better than this. Why can't I be better than this? And he is who he is. He's a free swinger. You're not going to take that away from Nick Castellanos. Ever. You're never going to take away the free swinging Nick Castellanos. That's just not who he is. What gets me is just drive the ball. You're Nick Castellanos. You are 2 years or a year removed from being an all-star, for Christ's sake, dude. Just figure it out. Like, he shows signs of life. Like, he has 3 hits in a game, and then nothing. Like, 3 hits, nothing. Like, just be consistent. Just consistent. Be that doubles machine we saw in Chicago, dude. Okay. So, like I said, the Phillies split in Cincinnati, and that's kind of what I envisioned them doing. Going out there was, tell you the truth, my gut, my loins are telling me that this is the team that if the Phillies were to make it to the NLCS, the Reds will be the team that they will be seeing. They have very good players on that team. They're very beatable, but they can be sneaky in there. They have dudes. Ellie De La Cruz is a stud. Spencer Steer. Even Will Benson killed us a little bit. Jonathan India is very, very good. Encarnacion Strand is very good. Jake Fraley is very good. No, Jake, is that who it is? No, he's on the. Who am I thinking of? I think he's on the Twins, but he was a Red at some point. Regardless, then the pitching: Hunter Green, Nick Lodolo, Graham Ashcraft, even Nick Martinez. Even though he kind of got touched up a bit today, still very, very good. And then their bullpen, still very good. You have dudes out there, so the Reds are a very good team. They're very competitive. I think they're one of the more underrated teams, and I think everybody and their mother have them as an underrated team. So that's not really anything new. Something else I took away before I go is Stott has shown signs of life. I mentioned before to some people that Stott kind of looked lost at the plate. And I even said, like, Stott has been just as bad as Nick Castellanos, but nobody is saying anything because of how bad Castellanos is. And I understand it comes with the contract of $20 million when you're looking at Castellanos. So I understand why nobody has kind of been talking about it, but Stott has not been good. He's showing signs of life now, which is very, very good, because having Bryson Stott be Bryson Stott is very important, almost important as Trey being Trey and Bryce being Bryce. And these guys, like, we know what we're getting from these guys. So it's good to see him have a couple hits, a couple RBIs, starting to string a few things together. Excuse me. So now, moving on, I'm going to get to my dudes of the week. Very excited for this. Very, very excited. Give me one sec. There's a work thing. Monday. It's okay. Perfect. Okay. Sorry. That was a work thing. Any Hoosiers. Now moving on to Matt Saporsky's Dude of the Week. If you're brand new to the program, Matt Saporsky was still a friend of the program, but can no longer come on to the pod. So he's here in spirit. He is here with his Dude of the Week because it was something baseball fans and junkies like the people listening to this and people that I associate myself with, we love naming dudes. We love naming just random dudes, from be like, hey, remember X? Remember when X did this? Do you remember when who did what? So Matt Saporsky's Dude of the Week is David Eckstein. David Eckstein, Dude of the Week. World Series MVP. And I always ask Matt for a quote about why he's the Dude of the Week. So he said, quote, "You need a single? He'll hit you a single. You need an extra base hit? He'll hit you a single." End quote. So David Eckstein, one of those dudes. So Eckstein, drafted by the Boston Red Sox in the 19th round of the 1997 MLB draft. He was actually designated for assignments 4 years after being drafted. He then was picked up by the Angels. At that time, they were the Anaheim Angels. Spent 2001 to 2004 with them, then signed a 3-year, $10.75 million deal with the St. Louis Cardinals, in which he spent that duration of that 3-year deal from 2005 to 2007. Then signed with Toronto, traded to Arizona, signed with the Padres, just kind of bounced around a little bit towards the end. So didn't have necessarily a very long career, but he was just a dude. He was just a solid dude. So then we get to he is a career 280 hitter with a 701 OPS. And like I said, the point of this show is to just name dudes. Dudes on dudes on dudes. We love dudes. Pause. Matt Saporsky's Dude of the Week. David Eckstein. So now we're getting to John's hot takes. John is my manager that I've recently come into, and he gives a lot of hot takes. One of the hot takes, so I decided to make it a segment. So John's hot takes could be baseball related, could be life related, could be anything really. Whatever John's feeling is gonna be said on here, whether I agree with it or not. I'm going to pick his brain, try to justify why he's saying the things he is, and then we'll go from there. So number one, the Phillies should wear the Fanatic hat at all day games. I said that's not much of a hot take because I think that is a take that everybody and their mother agrees with. So there's that. The Phillies wore the Fanatic. Let me see. Let me pull up a picture. Pull up a picture. Phillies Fanatic hat. Dude, I didn't think it would be this hard to find them. It's this hat. There we go. It's that hat. They wore them for the Fanatic's birthday on Sunday, and it'll clean with the cream jerseys. Looks very good. So John says that they should wear Fanatic hats at all day games. And now here comes the idiotic one. Respectfully to you, John. He said hot dog or tacos. You have the crescent, you have the meat in the middle. The logic is there. And what I'm probably going to start doing is having him record his reasoning as to why these outlandish takes are takes, because he went on some 25-minute rant about why hot dog is a taco. I kind of tuned out by minute 7, and then he kept going and going and going and going and going. So hot dog is a taco. So let that one sink in with you a little bit, okay? So wrapping up, we have the series preview against the San Diego Padres. The Phillies are in San Diego. It's their West Coast trip. Game 1, we have Aaron Nola versus Joe Musgrove. Very good pitching matchup. But this is the game is a must-watch in my opinion. We have Ranger Suarez versus Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease has been extremely good. Obviously traded from the White Sox to the Padres right around opening day. He has been great in a White Sox uniform. He has a 1.3 ERA. Ranger obviously has been dominant, so should be a very, very good game from the pitching side of stuff. Or the both pitchers get shelled. I mean that kind of can happen as well. Then wrapping up with Taijuan Walker. Yay, Taijuan Walker. Taijuan Walker versus Michael King. Taijuan Walker making his season debut. Much controversial season debut for Taijuan Walker on Sunday. Take 2 out of 3. Just take care of business. Keep the bats hot. Keep the good vibes rolling. Keep that dad strength up, Bryce. But that's going to do it for me. I'm going to be back probably Sunday night or Monday night, one of them, depending on some personal stuff going on Sunday. I'm going to try for Sunday. If not, Monday morning, actually. I forgot I have a little bit of time in the morning. So Sunday night, Monday morning, I'll be back, and we'll be going over the Padres series and much, much more fun stuff. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and everybody, I'll see you then.